Well, to all you sexy people out there in the world of YouTube, here's Jose32 back again with another edition of What's on Kickstarter, your weekly look at what is new in the world of Kickstarter, in the world of playing cards on Kickstarter to be exact. Let's get on with it. There we are on Kickstarter. Like magic. Not really. First of all, let's recap all the projects that we've already talked about before that are ongoing. The Bicycle Hercules from PlayingCards.net is funded. 5 days to go. Really nice deck, but you should be able to pick them up no problem later on. Next up, we got the Mingo Playing Cards from Triangle Playing Cards, which I'm pretty sure is just another account for TCC. It's currently 83% funded, 16 hours to go. Will it make it? Is a big question. I imagine it will. It will get some last minute miracle pledging and it will put it over the top. You never know. Then we got the Bicycle Carnival from Collectible Playing Cards, 62% funded, 17 days to go. It should fund, I would imagine, in a matter of time. It's not a bad looking deck. There's also a stripper deck available. The Pollinator Garden Playing Cards by Kim Arnold ain't gonna happen. 3% funded, 27 days to go. I can tell you that with confidence. Open Portals by James R. Eads is 96% funded, 17 days to go. That one will happen. Whether or not it hits the glamorous stretch goals that they have set out is another question. I don't think it will hit the stretch goals. Renaissance Playing Cards from Cards Enthusiast is 44% funded, 21 hours to go. Don't think it's going to happen. It's just way too far away from the goal with only 21 hours to go. Blacktails Playing Cards from Ed M. Crown is funded. 16 days to go. Very happy about that. It's a nice looking deck of cards. Deserves to be funded. Odyssea Playing Cards by Third Way Industries. Also very well funded. 8 days to go. Definitely worth checking out. Olympians Playing Cards relaunched by Skyman Presents has funded. With 24 hours to go. Definitely worth checking out. Paper Cuts. Designed by Susie Taylor and produced by Art of Play, is very well funded, 13 days to go. This is technically considered a pre-order as per their website, but it's a little bit cheaper. And it's a very nice looking deck of cards for a lot of effort put into it. Definitely worth the look. Then we got the Stripey Luxury Edition by Baptiste Blom. Hope that's how you pronounce it. Funded, 10 days to go. Pretty cool. I like that it's got the gold foil on there instead of just being regular. That's what makes it the Luxury Edition. It's a little bit pricier, but it is gold foil. Then we got the Innocence Point Cards by Daniel Snyder. And that one is funded, 25 hours to go. I'm curious about this gold deck. Don't even remember if I pledged for this one or not. I think I figured I could just get this one later on. It's a pretty nice looking deck. With fairly standard faces, however. And like I said, it should be available later on, especially since Art of Play is fulfilling it. You can bet they will be selling it as well. Really don't know what that is all about. Oh, wait. It's an ad card, a double back, or whatever that's going to have gold ink as well. Why would you do that? They're just going to do one card in metallic gold ink. An ad card of all things. What's the purpose of that? That just seems kind of dumb. Then we have the Crudo Playing Cards by Atticom, which is well funded, 5 days to go. It is worth mentioning the second deck has been unlocked. They're on the way to the stretch goal for the third deck. Come on, show me where they're at here. And the second deck is the first one was the Revolution, which is this nice green one. The second one is coming right up. Just hang on a sec here. This is interesting. I like that. There's this nice map on the inside of Tuckers. I like it, but I also dislike it because unless you rip the box open, you're never going to see that the way it's being displayed there. It's just an added touch, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth a whole lot being inside the tuck case like that, because you're never really going to be able to see that beautiful detail all that well. The second goal was the Victoria edition. There's a stretch goal at $15,000 for the Muertos edition, which may get unlocked. This is the one that's unlocked, the Revolution. That was the first one. The Victoria is the second edition. Now, I would have preferred, quite frankly, if they did the Victoria edition with just clean white faces to match the borders. I might suggest that. And then the third edition, the Muertos, has a red back. They're mostly just color changes at most. But I do like it, and it's a nice looking deck, of course, definitely worth checking out. Knucklehead Point Cards by Mark Ludi is funded 8 days to go. Pretty interesting deck. Alien Empires by Dan Feldmeyer, which is a relaunch. It's 20% funded, 11 days to go. I do not think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Bloom Playing Cards by Edgar Montero is funded 8 days to go. Lines Playing Cards by CDL Art Studios, 18% funded, 16 days to go. I do not think it's going to happen. The Edge Jelly Cardistry 22.0 from TCC Presents is well funded, 4 days to go. They're just trainers, it's not my cup of tea. Four Claw Manor by Steve Ellis is funded, 10 days to go. Dream Recurrence V2 by Card Experiment is funded, 5 days to go. They have released the Reverie, so now you can get the yellow and black, you can get the purple and the pink, and of course the limited edition Deja Vu in the green colors. All available. Also, they have made available their previous V2 deck, so you can get that if you missed out as well. Then there is The Last Legion by Natalia Silva, which is 98% funded, 51 hours to go. I really would prefer if it did not fund, because she's already got 4 outstanding projects, no updates in months. She's not communicating. She's pretty much got MIA. Quite frankly, people don't support her. Quite frankly, is what I would say. Let's get the other, there's been no updates on this project whatsoever. And this person has made a long comment regarding that. Let's go over this guy's comment, because I think it's interesting and it's telling. I haven't read it yet, except for a slight look at the beginning. He's gone for all the projects, including the crazy deck, which is not in her name, ironically. The beginning, from 2 years ago, she was averaging 3 months from funding to delivery, had a lot more comments and official updates with statuses. Currently, she's at 9+ months on delivery, and has a couple of outstanding decks, 4 to be exact. Is the artwork beautiful? Yes. Would I wait 9 months? Sir. Concern, as others have, as well as others, is a lack of communication. This guy's first project he backed before was the Avalon, funded in December. Estimated delivery has changed to May, which was a change from the original delivery date. However, it's past May, 6 or 7 months past funding, and this guy's heavy into the Avalon set, and only one official update, which is a copy-paste of the previous status update with the addition advertisement of other decks, which I agree. You go down the official comments of all the different works, they just start turning into sales threads with updates being nothing more than I have a new setup on Kickstarter. Yes, that's one thing I dislike about Kickstarter creators, where the only updates they post is, hey, we got a new deck, go check it out. Well, what about the ongoing projects that you haven't delivered? There are 3 versions, a regular, limited 500, a third, only offered on the website with 100 printed, which he paid for that $100 deck in advance as well. Also, her website no longer exists. Well, keep that in mind. She actually sent this guy an email mentioning the order, but addressing him by someone else's name. And when he replied, that's not who I am, that he's waiting on the super duper deluxe rare Avalon deck, he got no response. Right. So apparently, she doesn't even know, she's not even tracking people's orders properly based on that. The love deck that other guy mentioned was supposed to be delivered in January in time for Valentine's. But there was an error, because in fact it wouldn't do fulfillment. She should have known and checked about before, and shipped them to herself. It did arrive in March. It arrived in March past Valentine's Day. Wife was unimpressed with her Valentine's Day gift coming a month late, and she already dislikes his penchant for playing cards. No update for 2 months on the Avalon. This one, 53 hours to go, only 87 backers. There was 329 in the previous project with $16,000. And yes, not even half of the Avalon backers have shown up in the last Legion deck, either because it's not that great or because they just lost confidence in her. She's over-promising, under-delivering. And yes, she had promised in her delivery dates, they're like 3 months. You know, in 3 months I'll deliver the project. She hasn't done that. And she hasn't been updating. And then she had copy and pasted updates. She's not responding to comments. I personally sent her a message asking for a refund recently. She has not responded to that. Interesting. There's a lot in there, and I will get some thoughts on that later on. I apologize for ranting there, for reading that and taking so much time away. The Spikes by Carter Street is 36% funded 7 days ago. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just not very appealing. The Halloween deck, which is way too early for Halloween, by Swab Decks, is 36% funded 9 days ago. Again, don't see it happening. The Retro Ink Blonde Eye Deck by Mad Xcott is 22% funded 27 days to go. I do not think it's going to happen. I did send a message to that guy about his project, and he basically said, his response is, I thank you for your concerns, but screw off. It's fine. This is the way I want it. I like it. But no, it's horrible. It's not usable at all. It's not just a one-way back design, which isn't that appealing, but more important, the faces with no indexes, and that is not great. I couldn't recommend it if I was blind. Moving on, no offense to blind people. is that, oh my god. Let's not look at that. Let's not look at that. Moving on to what's new. The Agape playing cards relaunched from Prama playing cards this year. It's 28% funded, 22 days to go. It's slowly getting there. There's two decks, I guess a black one and a white one. I really am not a fan of this font they used in the indexes. The court cards are pretty nicely done. It seems like a pretty radical redesign of what they had done before. Interesting tough cases. Not really a big fan of the back designs. They seem simple. I'm used to decks that have a lot more details in them, a lot more line work. Those, they don't seem that, I mean, they're okay, they're not bad, but it could be better. The artwork on the faces looks pretty nice. Being printed by Legends on the classic finish with 1,500 decks of each variant. Stretch goals for extra gaff cards and gold foil on the back. Also a stretch goal for just Pantone gold ink on the back. I guess is that supposed to be metallic ink? And stretch goal for embossing as well. I mean, the faces aren't bad. These aces simply do not look like they belong with this ace, aside from the indexes, just because the pips are different, and the corner things are especially different. It doesn't seem like they're from the same deck, quite frankly. Court cards, they're okay. They're inspired by Greek gods. They're not bad. And again, the back designs, I'm just not a huge fan. It's not bad, but it's just not great. They're calling them the yin and yang backs, black and white. Apparently, all the cards are completely colored different on the two decks. I don't know if they just mean the backs or the faces. Okay, it is the faces. They've added some different colors from one deck to the other. Not much. It's the same artwork. They just recolored it a bit, which is fine, I suppose. Nice number of cards. But again, they don't feel like they fit together with those court cards for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's not a bad deck. It's not really my cup of tea. Moving on, we got the Zwertzes playing card game, if you will, by Newt's Playing Cards. It's been a while since I've seen a product from them. 8% funded, 28 days to go. Not looking too great. It is a deck of cards, though, so we will look at it. Zwertzes, or however you pronounce that. It's a very interesting, nice-looking, highly detailed back design, or somewhat detailed back design, I would say. I do like that back design. It's pretty cool. I will admit that much. Apparently, the name is based loosely on the combined languages of German, Chinese, and Portuguese for 2-6. Seis is definitely, yes, 6 in Portuguese. Zwertzes, okay. That's pretty interesting. There's going to be 112 cards. That's a pretty big deck of cards. Obviously not USPC produced. Number cards, yeah, fairly typical. Nice pips. I like the added details in the backgrounds. Although why they would have a club and the cog on a heart or a spade, I'm not sure. I would suggest put the actual pip in there, unless it's, I guess that's not a club, it's just what it looks like. It's just the cogs detail. They're not bad. Also, they have the values on the top and bottom, similar to what you see in some other decks, and it's made so that when you hold it in your hand, you can see the different values if you hold them properly. They're not all in the same position, so that's kind of cool. They do have some custom court cards, a little bit goofy, cartoony, but they're okay, and at least it puts an effort into it. Apparently they got... Never mind. interesting aces. Fairly simple. And they also have 11, 12s, and 13s in each suit, which is always cool. Adds a little extra. Apparently these are ranked between the 10s and the jacks. So we'll go 10, 11, 12, 13, jack, queen, king, etc. Whatever etc. means. There's also more suits. Stars in yellow and the moon's in yellow. So they had 6 suits, which I'm down with. I'm actually interested in this project, quite frankly, because I do like decks like this with like 6 suits and additional cards, but it's a massive deck. They have all sorts of additional games that you can play with that. I've heard of 2/6 decks before. You can also use it to play games like the Bicycle 500 deck, which I do have. Zwei is a German word for 2. Is a Chinese word for 2. And seis is the Portuguese name for 6, which I obviously would say is correct. What I'm curious about is who is producing these and what the quality is going to be like. I don't, quite frankly, see that information. And they're only supposed to be delivered by November, which is fine, I suppose. Moving along, it's not a bad one, I would say. Not your typical deck of cards, but it's interesting, it stands out. I like decks like that are interesting and stand out and are different and are unique. That one certainly does it in a variety of ways. Moving on, we got the Bicycle Constellations from Bokubo. It's funded, 10 days to go. I don't know why they're doing another one of these and why they've named it Constellations, because they did already the Constellation series, which had a dozen decks, and now they're doing another one, which is just a random Constellations deck. It's a nice looking tough case. It's numbered on the seal. Perfect addition to the Bicycle Constellation series decks. Nice colors that they've used on there. I do like the back design. Pretty simple tally-ho circle back-esque, if you will. And, of course, recolored, fairly standard faces from the looks of it. I don't like this picture. Just show us the faces. Like, that's just ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, it's a one-way back design, but it's very colorful for fanning and forcing. You got that down. So it appeals to magicians. It appeals to floristers and cardists. Card jugglers. And it appeals to collectors. So, I mean, it kind of appeals to everyone that would look to buy a deck of cards. They do have some early birds. It's not a bad price. I did get one at the early bird. Yeah, it's not bad. I wish we could see more clearer pictures of the actual cards. Moving on, we've got the Dragonet playing cards by Emmeline Todd. 50% funded, 28 days to go. I have not seen this, but from what I can see, we got a very one-way back design, just because the dragons are different colors, and because it says Dragonet in the center, Dragonet in the center, and it's one way. It's a very low funding goal, $1,000 US. It's our first project, so keep that in mind. Sometimes you want to be wary of that. Printed by MPC on a 310 GSM Casino. Quality linen finished cardstock. That's a mouthful. And they're completely unusable because they don't have proper indexes. Subject to minor changes. All they have in the corner is a pip. They write out on top what the value is, queen, as you can see. And that's it. So you're basically going by that with a number of pips on the faces, which is not usable for me personally. You gotta have indexes if you want to use cards for playing games or for doing magic. This is the same problem with another deck that's on Kickstarter, the blot ink deck one. The pips are nice. I'm not a huge fan of the core cards. And I'm not a fan of the price. 20 bucks US for one deck. Are you freaking kidding me? No, thank you. For an unusable deck of cards. Next, we got the Abstract Playing Cards V1 by Zach Hakimi. 31% funded, 28 days to go. I'm fairly certain I've seen this one on Instagram at some point in time. That's a pretty big goal. What is that? It's 8,000 euros. Probably about $10,000 US. It's just another cardistry type deck. Lots of colors. And pizzazz on the back design. Probably fairly standard faces. Says it's fully customized designer's deck. It's not bad, the back design, the colors. Printed by Carter Moon Day. The design is super cool, but why are you printing them? Said someone super kind on Instagram. Might have been me, actually. I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure I asked. And it's Carter Moon Day, so why not? That's not bad, I would say. B9 finish. Custom faces, they're kind of interesting court cards, I would say. A little bit weird, a little bit interesting. It's not a bad looking deck. I do think there's some excess white space on some of the court cards that could have been used to put in pips for suit indicators, but it's not a big deal. Suffer me, yay. It's kind of a fun deck. I don't mind it. Certainly worth a look. That's for sure. Definitely got to mention this one, the Bicycle Armageddon from Will Roya. 60% funded, 27 days to go. Let's get it funded. It should fund in a matter of time. Very nice apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic style deck of cards. I do have a review on the prototype printed by NPC on my channel, which I just did the other day, so definitely go check that out to get a better look at the cards. They have brightened up the faces and the colors on the cards, so that's a plus. Of course, it's going to be Bicycle branded, USB-C produced. There's going to be some gaff cards included, which I don't recall if the one that I reviewed had. I should have looked at this before. There's 4 different factions. Clubs are the Wastelanders. The Hearts are the Enslavers. The Spades are the Rangers. And the Clubs are the Brotherhood of Metal. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I do like the pips and the faces. Some might have preferred for each face to have its own distinct weathering. It's not the end of the world. I think it's fine the way it is. The Jokers have a mutant and a cyborg. That explains the leg. And there's your box in your back. It's pretty nice. Overall, it's a pretty nice deck. Definitely worth checking out. I do recommend it. You can also get prototype deck if you want on the website. Only 30 available. Less than that now. And I see I'm not the only one who reviewed it. Not sure who else reviewed it, but my review is still the one to go with. Just saying. No, I don't mind people checking out other reviewers and getting different viewpoints. That's always good. But, of course, my channel does have the biggest selection of reviews. Anywhere. Guaranteed. Occupied Playing Cards by Jared Hall is 9% funded, 17 days to go. Thumbs down just from the back design. I don't remember if we looked at this one before. It'll come to me right away if we have. Probably, since it's only 17 days to go. It's not a great bat design. Very much a cardistry wannabe bat design. Pink colors on the faces, which is fine, but they're standard faces. Very thin borders, which I doubt we're going to see in the final product. And it's just another cardistry deck, quite frankly. And there's too many of those as it is. And look at that. 42 out of 50 early birds still available at $9. It tells me that the cardists are not interested in this one, and neither is anyone else. That's not a good... It does not look like the future for that one is very good. Then we got the Randy playing cards by Pratica Apaya. It's 68% funded, 27 days to go. Looks pretty interesting just from that image. I haven't looked at it as of yet. There it is. Wow. Those are massive numbers and letters in the index. They're massive letters in this one. Teeny little pips, but massive letters. That's kind of ridiculous. Nice artwork on the court cards, although a little bit weird that they're side by side, basically. Is almost funded. Apparently it's travel inspired. And very much like Indian inspired, I would say. It's fine. Nice tuck case. Nice aces from the looks of it. I would like to see more of the back design. I'm not seeing the back design. Printed by USB-C, apparently. $15 US for a deck of cards. The back design is not very clear. It's very simple though. It looks like stars on a blue sky. It's not bad at all. It's pretty nice, Indian inspired. There's been other Indian inspired, Indian themed decks out there. And this one's pretty unique, along with the other ones. But I wish we could see more of the back design. Please. But it's definitely one to keep an eye out on, for sure. Anything else? Oh yes. Oh yes. The 70s Racer deck in red by JD14, which is funded, 26 days to go. Quite frankly, I don't see why. This one's kind of not attractive in my opinion. It's a red back, which is fine, and then they got this racing flag stripe down to one side, which makes it a very one-way back design. Obviously, it's all about the cardists and the cardistry. $16 for this? I don't think so. Standard faces, it's, a modified ace of spades. There's a special add-on of a blue one. Kickstarter only. Yeah, I think this one's a pass. Apparently it's being printed by USB-C on bicycle stock, Aircliffe and Fittest, designed by Glovin. Glovin, except for his deck. Designed. That's not much of a design, it's a racing stripe, a racing flag. Why is it 70s? What is 70s about that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Quite frankly, I'm just not feeling it. It's an unnecessary one-way bad design. They could have put it in the center, for God's sakes. It would have been better. And it would have been mirror imaged. Moving on, we got the Spectre deck. When I think of Spectre, I'm thinking 007. It's by Dwayne Laverick, and it is 50% funded, 28 days to go. It looks pretty interesting, but looks can be deceiving. Let us start with a cliché. Cards became a part of this guy's life. Apparently the design was inspired by Chris Ramsey's Memento Mori deck. I'm sure he likes to mention. Feed his ego just a little bit. And he always wanted to design his own deck of cards, so here it is. He never thought he'd try to publish it to the public, but here it is. And it is not great. I'd give him A for effort, but that's all I'm giving him. Not a big fan. I mean, the pips are okay. The color scheme is fine. I do not like those court cards. They're just too minimalist. You want to design something? Then design something. This is just minimalist crap. It's a crown on top of the pip. The back design, not a whole lot going on there. Pretty simple and minimalist. To be printed by the USPC, Ericus and Finish. I wonder how long it took him to design this. Like I said, I give him A for effort. The pips are decent, and the color scheme is nice. But if you're gonna design a deck of cards, then design a deck of cards. Don't make a minimalist deck of cards, which is what I kind of see it as, just because the court cards, it's just a pip with a crown on top of it. And the pips, they're okay, they're not that exciting. Especially the diamond pip. And then the back design, there's not really a whole lot going on there. I could see cardists maybe being interested in this, but I'm just not, quite frankly, at this point in time. And that, I believe, does it for Kickstarter, or does it? It does not. I forgot about one more. The new limited edition Casino Royale Refined Edition by Bomb Magic International. It is well funded already, 22 days to go. Why do they have a project on Kickstarter? I don't know. They must be having difficulty selling some of their product and be looking to, or looking to promote their website a bit more. Printed by Taiwan Playing Cards, which they are the owners of, apparently. Apparently it's waterproof and tear-proof, which means it's going to be plastic. Oh, good. And they say it's the finished plastic stock with a smooth finish. I'm not sure how these are going to handle, quite frankly, but I did pack it. Because I have the other Casino Royales and I want to get this one. I do like the colors, orange and blue on the faces, very neon-y and bright, and more the same on the backs. Previously they had the Bright Edition and the Mystic Edition. You can see that the cards are actually a bit thinner than the Hidden King decks, the white edition that they produced. A couple of cards thinner, which is pretty interesting. 15 millimeters thinner, so yeah, a whole lot thinner. I'm just curious how it's going to handle if it's in fact plastic, or if it will in fact be plastic. That's a nice brick box. It's a treasure chest. That's kind of cool. I like that. There's also a Elite Edition, which is locked at a stretch goal of $50,000 Hong Kong, which you can be sure I will add on if and when it becomes available. You can actually get the Mystic Edition if you missed out or haven't gotten it yet. The Bright Edition is sold out, from what I can tell. Then again, they might be making it available here, from the looks of it, as a stretch goal. I guess it's some kind of a brick box. Fulfilled by Bone Magic. I'm not excited about that because I've always had seem to have some minor difficulties with their fulfillment, but as long as it's tracked and I can track it, I'll be fine. What's that stretch goal again? 50,000. And currently they are at 41,000. So it's getting there. That will be unlocked in a matter of time. It should be unlocked. So, I mean, I don't mind that one. I like it. It's pretty cool. That is it for Kickstarter this week. I apologize if the video is way too long. I apologize. A little bit too much ranting. I'll try not to do that next time. Sorry. Anyway, stay tuned for what's on deck with everything else going on in the world of playing cards.